4 ways to decrease the stress in your life, how to deal with the negative stress, the negative effects that stress has in our lives. Hi, this is Donna Carr Live. Welcome, and thank you very much for joining me. In today's society, we face a lot of stress. Stress can either be positive or it can be negative. Negative stress might be that you're very anxious about your job, or you have a project that you don't feel you have the skills to do, or that you owe a lot of money and you don't have the money to pay for what you need to pay. And so you steal from Peter to pay Paul, and you're shoveling it every month, and that causes negative stress. But there can also be positive stress. What would be a positive stress? Oh my gosh, let's think of a wedding. Yeah, even though it's to a happy occasion and it's a wonderful event in our life, if we are blessed to find someone that we love and we go forward and we get married, the stress in planning a marriage and a wedding is overwhelming, and it causes a lot of issues in our body. I can remember back when I was planning it, I was in nursing school at the time, going full-time. I was working part-time on the weekends when I wasn't in school. And on top of that, I was planning my own wedding. And my husband was in the military, and he was in North Carolina, and I was in Massachusetts. And so it was a heavy burden. And for me, what happened with the stress and the anxiety of thinking, can I get this done, and feeling overwhelmed, is I developed an ulcer in my stomach. Oh my God. I'm sure I had more symptoms, but that's the one that I took myself to one of the doctors to deal with. So let's talk. So you need to identify what some of the stresses might be in your life. But what I'm going to talk about is the symptoms that we get from having stress. So maybe if you don't know what the stress is, or you haven't identified it yet, I want to thank Linda and Martha for joining me. Thank you. Oh, and John and Beth too. Hi. Okay, so there are symptoms that our body physiologically produces when we have a lot of stress. And most of us have a certain part of our body that's kind of like our weak area. So for some people, they get severe headaches. Other people will get stomach aches and get nauseous and go into vomiting. Other people might get back aches and shoulder aches and neck pains like you can't believe. What else? Some people, when I was working in the emergency room as a nurse, you'd see them come in and they're saying, oh, I'm having a heart attack, I'm having a heart attack. And we throw on the EKG and they have this normal sinus rhythm, but their pulse is fast and they're freaking out. You can get chest pain from having a lot of stress in your life. Another physiological change, and I'm sure some of you have experienced it when you have stress, it seems to happen more in men than women, but a change in their sexual desire. It's like most of the time when men are young, it's like, yeah, let's hit the sack, or yeah, you turn me on, or whatever like that. And if they're under a lot of stress, their sexual drive goes away. They don't even want to talk about it. And if you're amorous, they'll even get angry at you. And then they'll start a fight with you so that you won't proceed in wanting to be intimate with them because they aren't going there. Hi, Chris. Thanks for joining. So we have that. We already talked about the stomach being upset. Another symptom that we get when we're faced with a lot of stress. These are the negative symptoms that our body produces. We get fatigue. We get extremely tired. Okay, so let's talk about, here's the symptom. I'm going to mention the mood that it produces, and then I'm going to I'm going to identify the behavior that you'll see. And if you see these things happening in a significant partner, you have to have a conversation with them that they have a lot of stress in their lives, and do they want to talk about it, and can you help identify it? And then we're going to talk about 3 simple ways that you can help yourself decrease your perceived stress, whereby decreasing the negative symptoms that your body is feeling, whereby decreasing or changing the mood that you're in or have been in, and addressing the behavior that comes from the symptom that we have. So you have a really bad tension headache because you're really under stress. What does that do to you emotionally in your mood? Usually it produces anxiety because you cannot think. You cannot get organized. You can't do your work. You just want to get reclusive and go and hide in a closet or put your head under a pillow. Okay? A lot of times the behavior that comes about when you have the headache is you overeat because you're stressed, or you undereat. Some people don't eat at all. Their appetite goes away. That doesn't happen to me. I'm the one that goes visits the cupboards in the refrigerator. Yeah, that's right. Who else visits the cupboards in the refrigerator? Yeah, we're not the only ones. Okay, so then if we have muscle tension, now that's what I talked about, the aches and the pains and the shoulders and the neck. Okay, if we have that, usually we're very restless. We can't sit still, like your loved one wants to sit on you, or if you're sit near you and like, oh, I don't want them near me, and you get up and you move and you're walking around and you can't get comfortable, you go to lay down and you're still not getting comfortable. What happens when you're so edgy like that, from having all this muscle tension, you can have angry outbursts, like, leave me alone. Just give me some time alone. Or you're always complaining. You blame. A lot of people blame when they're angry, and then they lay the blame on, not taking onus for what they are physically feeling, the tension, and what they are mood-wise feeling, very restless, like you want to run away, and your angry outbursts. We have to learn how to own it. If we're starting to act like that, you have to look at yourself and say, whoa, I got some stuff going on. What the heck is going on? And what can I do to make myself feel better? We're going to be talking about that. Let's go down the rest. So if you have chest pain when you're stressful, what happens to us emotionally is, in our mood, in our head, is just imagine having stress pain and you think it's a heart attack. You're not going to be able to focus on anything. No, not at all. All you're thinking of is, oh my God, I'm having a heart attack. Okay, a lot of times what people will do when they have stress like that, or they have the headache, they will start using illicit drugs or overtaking prescription drugs that they might have on hand. So there is misuse of drugs that can happen, as well as abuse. Misuse is when you have it available and you might be taking it too much, or misuse might be your husband has a prescription, or your wife or your girlfriend, and you're going to go raid their medicine cabinet and you are going to take it. It's never been prescribed for you. Maybe you've never taken it. You don't know how your body's going to react. So that's not always a good thing to do. When we feel fatigued, extremely tired because of stress, stress can be like a plug in our foot. And it opens up and it just drains our energy. We feel like a dish rag. It's like, oh my God, I can't move. Don't ask me to do anything. I'm like limp. I just want to not be. Okay. So when we have that, we feel truly anything that's put on our plate, we are overwhelmed because we can't even deal with ourselves to say get up and walk or go do the grocery shopping, normal activities of daily living, never mind anything else from work or a friend or family members might need from you or ask and feel overwhelmed. A lot of times what happens now is tobacco use, misuse, the same thing with alcohol, and then illicit tobacco. People will go there. And when you are so fatigued, you are also not focused. So let's say you did some illicit tobacco, you did some marijuana, and you're exhausted, but you don't want to be around your family, so you go driving. Well, excuse me, your ability to drive safely has been greatly affected because you have fatigue, and on top of it, taking a drug that is going to impair you neurologically. You'll find yourself stopping at a stop sign a car and a half length before the stop sign, but your perception is you're at the stop sign. Well, guess what? You're either going to get in an accident or you're going to get a ticket. So if you're doing drugs, don't get behind an automobile, please, because you can kill yourself and you can kill someone else, and it's not worth it. So the lack of sex drive, when some people are overstressed and they're dealing poorly with the stress, their sexual drive can go down. And a lot of times what will happen is they will go into social isolation. They don't want to be around other people. They don't want to be, they might, if you normally sleep together with your significant other, they might purposefully fall asleep on the couch or in the second bedroom and pretend being asleep until you go to sleep so they don't have to face you. That happens a lot. So there's an issue going on and it needs to be addressed. The other thing is an upset stomach. Now, if your symptom is an upset stomach and you feel like you're getting an ulcer and you're having acid reflux like crazy, and you have stomach pains and you might have loose stools or you might have diarrhea. Okay, when that's going on, a lot of times we are very sad or we're depressed. Some people like to use the word funk because they don't want to put the label of depressed on themselves, because in our society sometimes it has a negative connotation. But it's a normal physiological thing for us humans to feel. You should never be ashamed of it. And you should always talk to your doctor about it, because that way it can be addressed. And if you're talking with like a really good friend you can confide in, or you're talking with your significant other and you can be candid and honest, then you might want to say, I feel really sad, or I feel in a funk. I don't know if I'm depressed, but this is how I feel. When you can talk about it, then you don't feel alone. But when